We look at the NFL. We look at American football, which is just that. It's American football. Because we all know that world football is not football, okay? World football, we call it here in the United States of America, we call it soccer. And while we acknowledge that it is very popular around the world, it's not really all that popular in America. Because, well, we have problems with men kicking a ball around on a grassy field that if they trip and they fall, they throw a temper tantrum. Okay? Because soccer players do that, and it's insane, and it's so ridiculous. I mean, you want to talk about men acting feminine, okay, that's what you get. Now, and if you haven't seen that kind of stuff, you can check it out for yourself, where, like, you'll have a player there on the field, and he'll like brush up against another player, just like a little brush against another player, and then the other player goes, ah, he'll like hold his arm and fall down to the ground and start writhing on the ground. They're trained to do that, to do that type of behavior on the field because they want penalties to be given to the other team, to the other players. In other words, it's a lie. It's a lie, and it's rampant throughout soccer. So, in other words, soccer's retarded. I'm just gonna say it. I can't stand soccer. But in America, we've got football. In America, we've got powerful, masculine football where you get these men on the field that are 250 to 300 plus pounds each, and they're big, brutish men, just masculine and muscular, and we give them helmets, and we give them shoulder pads, and we give them leg paddings and arm padding, and they are there, and they get down on the line right in front of each other, and it's down, set, hurt, and they get that ball into the hands of the quarterback, and the quarterback goes back in order to hand it off or to fake or to go for a pass, and you get these two teams together, and you get this line together, and they up against each other, big, massive men just struggling and wrestling and fighting and just pushing each other in order to get to the quarterback. Masculine, American, uniquely powerful, uniquely masculine. But what the NFL has been doing for the last 10 years is that they have been promoting the feminization of American football. Now, when it comes to football and sports in general, I'm not like all that passionate about it. Like, really, I'm not. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I even watched a football game because I'm really not that interested in football itself, in the sport itself. I'm not like rooting for one team over another. I mean, if it's the Super Bowl and I have an opportunity to gather with friends or family to actually sit down and we're going to have good food and we're going to have more of a social family event or friendly event, then yeah, I'm all for that. Like, sure, that sounds great. Let's do that. But to actually watch football just for the sake of watching football, no, it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's something that I'm just not interested in. But I can still nevertheless see the value in the sport in promoting what it promotes. It promotes strength. It promotes masculinity. It promotes men being men and being strong and powerful. That at its core. Okay? And when it comes to the NFL, there's been this push to make it woke, to push for the feminization, once again, of it, which is detestable, which is vile. And I want to start not with the NFL, but I actually want to start with a Truth Social post from our president, Donald Trump, just this morning. And it's a long post, but there are there are things that he mentions in this truth post of his that are relevant to this subject. But honestly, the entire post is just phenomenal because he's pushing to get rid of mail-in ballots and voting machines. Get rid of them. And I love this. So we're going to read the entire thing, but then we're going to focus on when he's talking about the woke stuff. So from our president, Donald J. Trump, he said this morning, I am going to lead a movement to get rid of mail-in ballots. And also, while we're at it, highly inaccurate, very expensive, and seriously controversial voting machines, which cost 10 times more than accurate and sophisticated watermark paper, which is faster and leaves no doubt at the end of the evening as to who won and who lost the election. Like hallelujah. Hallelujah. I voted for this. I voted for this. We are going to get back to election integrity. We're going to get back to actually having secure elections so that what happened in 2020 with the stealing of the 2020 election never, ever happens again. And that was, of course, the presidential election. Okay, that's not talking about just all of the other elections. There's many other elections. You've got governorship elections. You've got mayoral elections. You've got the elections, for those that are going to be in Congress and the House and in the Senate. You got all of these elections throughout the United States. And it's the blue cities and the blue states that are promoting these types of voting, like with electronic voting machines and then mail-in ballots, that have proven to be completely inaccurate and also highly susceptible to fraud. I mean, even Elon Musk, who, if there's somebody that knows about, machines, and he knows about computers, and he knows about, AI, and he knows about robotics, and his whole world is in that world, the computing world. He says electronic voting machines are horrendous, and they are among the easiest machines on planet Earth to hack. The easiest. So it's like, get rid of them. Get rid of all of them. We got to get to paper. We got to get to same-day voting. We got to get to same-day counting. All of that. No mail-in ballots and no voting machines. So absolutely love this from our president. He continues and says, we are now the only country in the world that uses mail-in voting. All others gave it up because of the massive voter fraud encountered. We will begin this effort, which will be strongly opposed by the Democrats, obviously, because the Democrats, the only way they win is because they cheat. Strongly opposed by the Democrats because they cheat at levels never seen before. And I'm going to do this by signing an executive order to help bring honesty to the 26 midterm elections. Remember, the states are merely an agent for the federal government in counting and tabulating the votes. They must do what the federal government, as represented by the President of the United States, tells them for the good of our country to do. With their horrible radical left policies like open borders, and this is, the focus point. Okay, we're gonna list out these radical left policies, which are just that. They are horrible. They are detestable. They are abominable. They are vile. With their horrible radical left policies like open borders, men playing in women's sports, transgender and woke for everyone, and so much more, Democrats are virtually unelectable without using this completely disproven mail-in scam. Elections can never be honest with mail-in ballots and voting, and everybody, in particular the Democrats, knows this. I and the Republican Party will fight like hell to bring honesty and integrity back to our elections. The mail-in ballot hoax using voting machines that are a complete and total disaster must end now. Remember, without fair and honest elections and strong and powerful borders, you don't even have a semblance of a country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Amen. Hallelujah. Incredible. Bravo. Sir, I salute you. Thank you so very much. I voted for this. So incredible news from our president, absolutely amazing, but considering the subject that we're really focusing on right now with the NFL and the feminization of it, I want to focus here on these horrible radical left policies, like open borders. And then President Trump, after open borders, he says, really, it comes down to two things. Men playing in women's sports, which is not only extraordinarily unfair for the women, because men are stronger than women. Men are bigger than women. We're faster than women. So physically speaking, men in every area are bigger, stronger, and faster than women. And so you get a male athlete competing against female athletes, and the man will win every single time. Every time. That is an absolute biological fact. And yet, when it comes to people on the left, they don't care. They don't care about facts. They don't care about reality. They don't care about truth. Because, as we read earlier from the Holy Bible, from the Holy Word, they throw the truth out the window and they substitute it for a lie. They embrace the lies because they love lies, because ultimately they are of their master, their, quote, Lord, who is Satan, the father of lies. And so President Trump, getting back to this, he lists out men playing in women's sports. So this is men who are pretending to be women, men who think that womanhood is like a Halloween costume. You just put on a dress and all of a sudden, boom, you're a woman. Men playing in women's sports. And then he says transgender and woke for everyone. Every single thing about this, what Trump has just listed out with these horrible radical left policies, it's all about getting back to the word of the Almighty. Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for Jehovah your God detests anyone who does this. Women, be women. Women, be feminine. Men, be men. Men, be masculine. In everything you do, everything you think and say and do, be what God created you to be. That is the soul and heart of this command from Deuteronomy chapter 22, verse 5. And President Trump, alpha male, masculine President Trump, he knows it. So we're getting rid of the men playing in women's sports. We're getting rid of the transgender. We're getting rid of the woke. All of this sexual perversion garbage. But the NFL is pushing back. The NFL is saying no. Again, it is so insane because the NFL is meant to be masculine. It's like insanity that they've been going in this direction. For the last 10 years, it's like we've seen ups and downs where we got these, the push for American patriotism and getting back to what America is all about. But then over the last 10 years, we've also seen these pushes to make it more woke. And so I say here, do not think that woke is dead. It's clearly not. We must keep fighting always. Never, ever think that woke is dead. Here we have a video of Minnesota Vikings who have brought on not just one, but two male cheerleaders. And we're going to get into the difference between traditional masculine male cheerleaders and this walking abomination here. no, 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 no. Like, no, no. I can't watch it anymore. Like, oh gosh, it is exactly what Kevin Sorbo says in this post. Kevin Sorbo, who played Hercules in the 1990s, the 1990s TV show Hercules. Okay, Kevin Sorbo, you got this right. Gross. Gross. Like, really, really gross. Like, why? Like, why are what does the NFL, what do they possibly hope to accomplish by putting this out there, this detestable thing out there? I mean, what could they hope to gain? Did they learn nothing from the absolute catastrophic disaster that is Dylan Mulvaney and the Bud Light fiasco? Did they learn nothing from that? It's like every single time you have these corporations, or in this case, this league, the National Football League, the NFL, every single time they go in the direction of woke, they lose money, and a lot of it. And there could be, people out there like, there's some people out there, that would like this. And it's like, okay, A, yeah, that's true. And they're vile and really gross. B, they don't watch football. The types of people that would actually want to see this, value this, those are the types of people that don't watch football and have no interest in watching football, because football, at its core, is masculine and strong and powerful. And this is anything but. This is the opposite of masculinity. This is the opposite of what is powerful and strong. So when it gets to these political influencers, primarily on the right, that have been saying for the last several months, woke is dead, and they've been like celebrating, woke is dead. Never, ever celebrate too soon. Don't ever celebrate too soon. Don't ever be thinking to yourself that woke is dead, the beast is dead, we've won, we've had the victory. No, we haven't. Woke is definitely not dead. We have to keep fighting against it, always. Just when you think that the evil is dead, it gets resurrected and brought back. In a moment of our weakness, when we get lazy and slothful, that's when the evil comes back. Okay? Because evil doesn't die. Evil doesn't sleep. It just waits. It waits for the opportunity to strike. And it will always strike in a moment of our laziness, our slothfulness, our weakness. When we think we've already won, that's when the evil comes back. And so you get all these people that have been celebrating that woke is dead, when you can see that with football, for heaven's sakes, with the NFL, it's not. It hasn't gone anywhere. It just has been suppressed for a time, but now it's coming back, and we need to always be fighting against it. People who celebrate too early, they're the ones who end up losing. They end up losing. In fact, I remember seeing this many, many years ago. This was when I was a kid, because my dad would watch football, and so I was a kid, and I remember this one game. I see this so clearly in my head. This is probably like 30 plus years ago. My dad was watching a football game, and quarterback, he gets the ball, and he's coming back, and he throws it. He got this big long pass, it's going, dozens and dozens of yards all the way towards the end zone, and gets caught by the receiver. Receiver then turns around, and he thought that he was in the clear. And here he was only like 10 yards from the end zone, 10 yards from a touchdown. And so he starts running, and then as he's getting close to the touchdown, close to the end zone, he holds his arms out like this. He's got the football in his right hand, and he holds his arms out like this, like, yeah, I did it. Look at me. And as soon as he did that, a player from the opposite team comes charging up behind him, and I swear to you, as this football player was within 1 yard of touchdown, 1 yard, this other player comes up and boom, knocks the football out of his hands. The football goes flying, and he doesn't get the touchdown. He doesn't get the victory. He doesn't get the win. Why? Because he was an idiot. He was a total idiot, and he was celebrating too soon. Until you get the victory and the referee says touchdown, you hold that ball as close as you possibly can, and it's tight against your body, and you are charging. You're charging like a madman. I mean, you're running in there at full might, full strength, full speed, and you're not going to even... You will never risk losing. You will never risk failure. But that's what all these people who've been making the declaration that woke is dead, that's what they're doing. They're risking losing it all. They're risking putting the ball out there just to have the other team, the left, come up from behind and boom, knock the ball out of the hands, and we don't get the victory. Woke is not dead. Woke has just been suppressed, but it is coming back. It is making a fight to come back, and we have to fight against it. We must fight against it. So, needs to be pointed out that there's always been male cheerleaders. Okay, there have always been male cheerleaders. Here you go. Here is a male cheerleader. Notice anything about this particular male cheerleader that may be, I don't know, different from this? You notice anything that, may be different between this and this? It's pretty obvious. In fact, if you can't tell a difference, then you must be blind. And this is something that I posted. There have always been male cheerleaders, but if you think that these two things are one and the same, you're obviously retarded. Okay? There's always been male cheerleaders, but look at these male cheerleaders. Look at the arms of these guys. You notice anything about them? Do you notice is there any femininity about these men? Or is this masculinity? Of course it's masculinity. It's extreme masculinity and strength. Look at the difference between these guys and this. Yeah. There's a big difference. There's a universe of difference. You got the difference between men being masculine, and this fairy. This homosexual who's out there dancing and gyrating and, with his pom-poms out there on the field as if he was a woman. It's what the commandment, once again, from Deuteronomy 22, verse 5, is all about. Men should be men. Women should be women. Here's a man, being masculine, and here's a woman, being feminine. Okay? So, Pamela Hensley, she says, male cheerleaders for college football are studs. They can lift a girl up with one arm. They aren't Tutti Fruities or Transformers like they are in the NFL. I'm done with that woke trash and will never take my family to another NFL game. I've been done with them for a while. Yeah. I mean, it's so crazy. Here it is. Look at this. It's just nasty. It is exactly what the Holy Bible says. It's gross. It's detestable. So we have the Minnesota Vikings hired a male as their lead cheerleader. Their lead cheerleader for the 2025-26 NFL football season. This is just disgusting. And it is. But, hey, what do you expect from Minnesota? Same state as Tampon Tim. Let's put tampons in the in the men's bathrooms. Tampon Tim state. This is what is being promoted. Ugh. Gosh. Yeah. This is how male cheerleaders should be acting. Yeah. These are some male cheerleaders there. But here we go. And that was the Minnesota Vikings, right? This is the Minnesota Vikings. But we also see the exact same thing with the New England Patriots. They're doing the exact same thing. So it's not just one team. It's not just the Vikings. It's also the Patriots. The New England Patriots' new male cheerleader. The NFL is cooked. Hey, I'm about to go level up. I'm going to mute it because YouTube being YouTube, they copyright everything when it comes to music. So we'll mute it. And there is nothing masculine about this. This is woke, vile, disgusting trash. Ugh. And so it's just, it's horrendous. It's so horrendous. Oh, here we go. You want to see a male cheerleader? Okay, there are male cheerleaders with actual strength and skill, not whatever homo trans, shiz the NFL is on. Okay? You want to see a male cheerleader? That's a male cheerleader. I mean, this guy is totally beefy. And you're like, well, he's fat. There's a tremendous amount of muscle beneath that fat. I can promise you. That dude, you don't want to push that dude around, okay? Check this out. Seriously. One arm, one hand. That is a male cheerleader. That's a male cheerleader, okay? They very much so exist, but they are the opposite of what the NFL is pushing. Ugh. So here we have account name Vaccines Kill, and it reads, the Minnesota Vikings under major backlash after the team hires a male as their lead cheerleader for the 25-26 NFL football season. Yeah, as they should have major backlash. And you know what? If they're going to make any change, then they got to feel it. They have to feel it with their bank accounts, okay? With their wallets. That when it comes to the Minnesota Vikings, when it comes to the New England Patriots, people, you get your refunds from your season tickets and you don't support these teams. You do not support any of this. So, but this is why, listen to this. This is why they continue to do this. We all still go to the games, empty the stands, and this stops. However, there will still be people like Jesse. Okay, here's Jesse from Fox News. Listen to what he has to say.
So is football ruined, or is the sport too good to fail? Joining me now, Fox and Friends weekend co-host Pete Hegseth. All right, Pete, I'm going to give it to you straight here. I love football so much. They could decapitate George Washington. They could burn a flag. They could do whatever they wanted. And I'm on there. I'm on the couch. I'm watching kickoff.
That's why. That's why. And this Jesse guy on Fox News, like, how disgusting that is. That he says the NFL could decapitate a statue of George Washington. They could burn the American flag, and I will still be there to support them. Like, Fox News, fire this guy immediately. This is insanity. You can't, to make a statement like that is just, is the most un-American, unpatriotic thing you could ever possibly say. It's like, this guy's, psychotic to make such a statement. Now, I know that he was he was joking. Okay, yeah, he's bringing humor into it. They could do anything, and I'll still support them. Well, that's why the NFL does this stuff, because they have an agenda. Their agenda is a leftist, woke, really perverse agenda, and they're going to get it out there in front of all of these people that no matter what they do, they'll still support it. They'll still watch it. Ugh. So on, here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. The New England Patriots, right? So the New England Patriots, new male cheerleader. Yeah, real men attend football games, and absolutely no real man wants to see this crap. They should change their name from Patriots to Libtards. How much woker, is that even a word, can the NFL get? Guess they haven't lost enough money yet. Yeah. Once again, YouTube being YouTube, I'm going to mute it just so I don't get dinged with copyright for music. So here we go. Jeremy is his name. And obviously you can see this is the opposite of masculinity. This is the opposite of strength. This is the opposite of a man. It is so gross. It's just gross. And to conclude the subject, we're going to watch this video. We got Minnesota Vikings fans are threatening to cancel season tickets over the team's two male cheerleaders described as feminine and gay, because they are. This follows an NFL trend like the Rams adding male cheerleaders, some openly LGBT, of course. You see any one of these male cheerleaders, that they got in the NFL, and it's like, he's gay. He's totally gay. While cutting females. Despite backlash, the Vikings aren't backing down in progressive Minnesota, home to Governor Tim Walz's tampon policy in boys' restrooms. All right, let's give this a quick watch, and then we'll be done with the subject.
Well, black and white sports fans, the Minnesota Vikings fans have been threatening to cancel their season tickets. And this is all because the Vikings actually have not one, but two male cheerleaders. But these cheerleaders are not the type of cheerleaders you actually see like in college, where they're actually really there to hold up the women. These two male cheerleaders obviously are very, very, how can I put it? Feminine. Okay? These are...
How can I put it? Feminine. Right. Which is the entire point, getting back to the Word of God, when it commands, a woman must not wear men's clothing, nor a man wear women's clothing, for Jehovah your God detests anyone who does this. Jehovah detests feminine men and detests masculine women, to put it another way. Really simple. But getting back to this, this is TikTok account name Black and White Sports.
Are a couple of gay cheerleaders, folks. And this is becoming a trend across the NFL. I mean, the Rams guys, they actually have 7 male cheerleaders. We know for sure, like half of them are truly gay.
So 3, at least. We got Minnesota Vikings, New England Patriots, and the Rams.
Because on their bios, man, some of them actually mention LGBT stuff. Yeah. And the Rams actually got rid of 10 female cheerleaders, by the way. But let's go ahead and talk about the Vikings, guys, because they were really the first team, man, that have gotten crushed for this. Up until this point, guys, we have not heard from the Vikings, but the Vikings, they have heard the response from the fans that have canceled their season tickets, folks. And guess what? The Vikings, they don't care. Shocker, right? They don't care. Now, of course, the Vikings play in Tampon Tim Walz's state of Minnesota. You know, the guy that actually put on tampons in the boys' restroom. Yeah, not the girls' restroom, the boys' restroom. Yeah, this is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with. Well, they have now fired back, folks, and they're not backing down. They're not backing down. Also, guys, we got a new clip.
They are not backing down. They're not. They're not backing down, and that's why we cannot back down. We cannot back down. We cannot stop fighting. We cannot celebrate too early like idiots. Idiots celebrate too early. Idiots are the ones that are running. You have a golden win. I mean, it's right there. The touchdown is right there. The end zone is right there. Literally yards in front of you, and you have the ball in your hands. No one's around you. You're not going to hold that close to you, but you're going to just throw that out there and celebrate too soon so someone from the left can come up and knock the ball out of her hands, and we lose. Okay. The left isn't backing down. They're not going to sleep. They're fighting back with the ferocity of the demons that possess them. We need to fight like lions against this evil. Because at least three teams in the NFL, they're pushing for this disgusting, just vile feminization of men and all their LGBT perversions. And we cannot stop fighting. Once again, we cannot stop fighting.